Hi, everybody. This is Mike Leahy. Thanks for joining us today for our 50-minute overview of our Pulse dashboard software. Mark Fannin, who is our operations manager, is helping me. For those of you who may not be familiar with our company, we have been in business forever. We have worked with Macola forever. We are manufacturing and distribution ERP specialists. Probably 90% of our customers are manufacturers. We are located in Cincinnati, Ohio. And what we do for a living is we make your Macola software easier to use, either by helping you show how to make the software, use the software better, or with a variety of tools, including our Pulse dashboard, which we're going to talk about today. So I thought what might be good would be to sort of give you our story. How did this product come about? Why do we have this, and so on. So the problem is I'm a crystal expert, and I've developed maybe 3,000 reports. And during that time period, we observed various things that customers were looking for. One is they didn't want just columnar reports where you're just regurgitating the data. They wanted analytical reports for each department. Everybody wanted everything to be able to export to Excel. Crystal obviously exports to Excel pretty cleanly. The Macola reports a lot of times don't at all. They weren't designed for that. But more importantly, the users wanted to be able to modify their own reports. They did not want to wait for the IT staff who's already overworked to move this column around or to change the sorting or change the filtering. They wanted to be able to do that themselves. But more importantly, they wanted pre-developed reports. They didn't want to have to invent, oh, I want a report that shows such and such. They wanted that report already available, already developed by somebody else, field tested by somebody else, so that when they get it, there's no chance that it hasn't been tested. The other area is people wanted metrics. They wanted more metrics in the inventory area, especially. And so what I remember what we used to do is we would have a whole bunch of crystal formulas that would provide some of that, but they wanted something a lot more comprehensive. They also wanted to feel that the reports they developed were actually being developed by somebody who knew the software and knew the tables, knew the files, and were accomplished Macola experts, that the reports just weren't being delivered or developed by somebody off the street. Another big factor here is that over time, due to turnover and just changes in the network, a lot of people would lose the reports. In other words, would you lose a $5,000 or $10,000 conveyor system in your plant? Would you put it outside and let it rust where it wouldn't work anymore? Well, some of the crystal reports cost the same, and so they wanted some place to put everything in one place, so they didn't have to hunt around. So that was the problem that we were observing, and we decided to develop Pulse Dashboard as the solution. And this is what we ended up with: all the data in Macola available at your fingertips. So wherever you are, if you're in inventory, you're in costing, you're in sales, you're in accounting, when you go into the reports, everything behind the scenes, all the Macola data is available to you at your fingertips. We also solved the problem of the users not being able to move the data around and customize their own reports. So there's no waiting for IT assistance anymore. And our goal was to be able to develop a platform, a dashboard series of screens that would provide reports for each department. And of course, in the software we developed, everything exports cleanly to Excel. There's not a single report that has trouble there. We also decided that we would enhance the Macola software. Is very, very good. The database is very, very comprehensive, but it lacks a lot of metrics, a lot of analysis and I'll show you those in a minute, metrics for inventory especially. So we developed those and added them to the Macola database, added them to what's available for reporting. And since everything is now in one place, there's no concern about misplacing an old report. They're all available. And since we are Macola experts, all the reports by nature, by definition, were developed by people who know the tables and so on. So the result of this is that for the end users, the end Macola users, there's more time at the end of the day, more time devoted that can be devoted to better and faster decision making. So that's what we're going to look at today. These are a few testimonials that people have said about the best analytical tool I've used in my career. I'm beyond excited to have all the reports at my fingertips. So there's that regurgitation of at your fingertips. And the third one is Pulse puts everything in one place. I won't have to look around for spreadsheets or crystal reports. So you're seeing that we're getting validated as to what we wanted to have included in the software. These are the modules that we have provided, basically modules for every department. You'll see those in a minute. The software typically, you can choose certain modules if you don't do production, if you don't do whatever, you can, but most people have all of these, have all the modules. So this is the end of our PowerPoint presentation. And let's take a look at the software. So I mentioned before that we have modules for each department. So this is the executive module. This is the financial control module. We'll go over some of this a little slower later. There's a customer service module, a sales and marketing module, an inventory module, a purchasing module, production, and we've developed our own MRP module. So let's talk about that for a minute. Macola has a extremely detailed, extremely comprehensive MRP module, MRP capability that's available. But our customers all say, just show me my shortages. Just focus on showing me the shortages that are going to prevent me from shipping on time or making on time. That's what they want. We don't have a staff that can devote and learn the Macola MRP. Our other goal was to be able to, and I'll show you that shortly, to have it run extremely fast. This 1 hour overnight running of the regeneration, that's all in the past. So so our MRP focus is on shortages. Okay, so let's talk about, let's just use this summary just to kind of get everybody warmed up and show you what we're doing. So this is live information. I can double click on this blue bar. I can right click and say refresh. You're seeing how fast it runs. And in dashboard, everything has, where we're showing summary numbers, there you can drill down. You can drill down on the graphs. You can drill down. I'll just show you this. We're just drilling down. So in other words, I took this report, which is orders entered, orders invoiced, my backlog, month to date versus budget, year to date, and so on. So for discussion purposes, demonstration, I'm just going to click on that. And here we are. So this actually has a double drill down. We can look at it by customer on top, and then I can look down below to see what that customer has ordered. So the idea of this particular one is to show by customer what they've, let's refresh where we are. We're talking about orders entered month to date. And summarizing it by customer, I'm able to look at my total, my cost. I'm able to look at this in terms of looking at the margin. If I don't like something or I have a question, I can just drill down and see the underlying detail. So what I want to show you here, a couple of things. Let's say that you are the sales manager, and this looks really good, except you want the customer type to be added on here. Or maybe you want the customer name to be at the front and the customer number after that. So what I'm demonstrating right now is I'm a user making changes to the report and no IT assistance. In other words, everybody on the audience here on the call can make this kind of a change. I'm just dragging this over. If I want the customer type, I click on, this is what we call our grid, our report, our column chooser. So I'm going to click on that. And at this point, all the fields in Macola, remember we talked about having everything available at your fingertips. So these are all the fields that have anything to do with orders, customers, inventory. And if you notice, we've converted everything to business English. So there's no, if you're a technical person, you can hover over here and you can see it's like .ord_dt, but no, not too many people know that. So in my case here, I'm just going to type in the word type, T-Y-P-E. And I wanted to add the customer type. So I'm going to double click and you can see it added it over to the right side. I'm going to bring in the description as well. And I'm going to say, okay. So there was nothing magical about that. I just clicked on my column chooser. I put in the word type. And I just double clicked on these fields, or I could say add, and they brought them in. And so this whole concept, you may have heard people talk about this concept of linking files together, all that goes away. We do all that behind the scenes. So here's my customer type. I'm able to see that. So the change that I've made to add these, it does not affect any other user. It's only you, only me. So there's no fear of messing up a report that a coworker has developed. Now, I've also want to show you that this little icon here means I can export all the reports to Excel. I can print the report, or I'll show you a print image of it. We don't print reports very much anymore because you can go back and reconstruct the report. But what's cool about this is I can email this report. So I can say, save it to a PDF file, or save it to a PDF file and email it to somebody. So we're going to go back and talk about this again. We can double click on or single click on anything to see the underlying details. Oh, I should have mentioned also that maybe this is the way you look at things every day, but you also may have some reports that you hold back and you only look at them every once in a while, or you only look at them at year end or month end or something like that. So you can pre-store all kinds of different reports, and maybe this was by salesperson, and then you can drill down below and see that the individual salespeople. And I mentioned before that the graphs even provide drill down as well. Okay, so now you know everything exports to Excel. Everything, you can move the fields around. You can do whatever you want, and you don't need any IT help. We provide unlimited phone support. So if you go up here to our help screen, and here is our direct phone number. This is our direct email address, and we provide unlimited phone support. And since we are Macola experts, when you say, I have this report, I want to add a customer something, I don't remember what it was called, but it's called customer type or something. Let me see if I can get back here to. This is not the one I was on before. I can help you. You say that it's the type or the category. You're not quite sure. So we can guide you through and adding that. Let's add that back again here, TYPE. The reason this didn't show is I didn't save this. Okay. So let's go through something else, and we'll talk about a scenario here about how our software makes your company more efficient, makes things operate better. Let's make believe that it is Monday morning, and we have a big shipment. We have $95,000 worth of orders to ship today. We send our pickers out to pick. We give them picking tickets. We send them out. 15 minutes later, they come back and they're all upset because they can't find the product. And the reality is the product's not there. So they say, why did you send me out to look for a product when you knew it wasn't there? So this report shows you that you indeed have 96,000 that you promised, but you only have 35,000 available. Now, Monday morning at 7 o'clock, 7:30, you can't recover from that. But if you had been looking at this in advance, then you would know that we have a problem, and you're only going to print pick tickets for what's available. So to make that, to again reinforce that you can't do anything on Monday morning, let's look in customer service. And let's look at our shortages for the week. So I'm going to go and I'm going to change this to say I want to look at my shortages for the next 5 days. Can I make it through Friday afternoon? I'm the customer service manager at this point. These are only finished goods. We're going to talk about components in a minute, but these are my finished goods. I have 16 finished goods. I'm not going to be able to ship them out on time. And for each one, I can drill down and see the underlying detail. In this case, I have production, but it's coming in too late. I'm time phasing this by demand and replenishment date. Let's take a look at another one here. Same thing here. We have replenishments, but they're coming in too late. Red is bad, white is good. So this covers, okay, well, the other part of the question here, we know that we have replenishments coming in too late. What are we going to do about them? Can we lean on production? Maybe they can't make it because there's a shortage. Or do we call the customer and say, I'm sorry, we're going to have to reschedule. So this covers the finished good shortages. But your question is probably, what are we going to do for component shortages? It's the same drill, 5 days. Now, remember earlier I mentioned that we had developed an MRP module and an MRP regeneration that was instantaneous. This is a full database that I'm working on. I'm gonna click this, double click. See that? Maybe 1.5 seconds to do a full MRP regeneration. So that's what we're talking about here. So again, the same thing. I have 34 components that are preventing me from shipping on time, and thus making on time, and thus shipping on time. And it's the same kind of deal. I can drill down. This one's a little bit sad because we have 4 production orders waiting for it. And technically, the way this works is it looks over the next 5 days, and then it looks for replenishments to infinity. So there are no replenishment purchase orders outstanding for this item. So it's never going to go away. And oh, by the way, you're seeing here, we include a forecast as well. We offer that forecast capability. Okay, so that's our drill in terms of it's Monday morning, and we don't want to be sending pickers out to pick stuff that we know is not there. We can look ahead of time and see that we have a disparity between what's available and what's the demand. And then for customer service, we can look at what the shortages are, and in production, we can do the same thing. So that's a big picture of what we're doing in our philosophy to make your operation work better. So far, maybe I should stop for a minute, Bart. Anything that I've overlooked or any questions that have come up?
Yeah. So there is a question. If you mentioned making crystal reports, if I've got some already made and I want to not have to recreate them in Pulse, is there a way to import those in and modify them once they're in Pulse?
Oh, absolutely. And I'll give you an example. It's using what we call our query analyzer. So this is a single level bill of material report that was developed, and it looks like a regular dashboard report, but it really is being driven by, this is, if you're a technical person, this is the SQL code that's driving that report. So yes, we can take the SQL code out of Crystal reports, and we can take them out of SSRS reports and convert them to dashboard. But interestingly, what we have found is that the majority of those reports already exist as some kind of a standard report within dashboard. So we look to see that custom report in Crystal, does it exist already? If it doesn't, then we could develop it by copying the code.
Okay. If anyone else has a question, feel free to ask it in the question area.
So we're back to the executive module, sort of focusing on that. One of the things that I thought would be helpful would be, you might say, well, this looks really good. Here's my on time. Well, let's talk about this for a minute. One of our goals was to be able to shore up some of the shortcomings, some of the omissions within the dashboards, within the Macola software. So on-time shipping, not available in Macola. So we have provided on-time shipping. This is for the entire company. And we can do fancy things like change the colors. You can make them your corporate colors or your team colors or things like that. So this is my on-time shipping graph for the entire company. But you may say, well, this is nice, but I really want to look at it by customer. So I'm going to focus on one customer at a time. Let's take a look at Cincinnati Distributors. That's our largest customer. So here's my on-time shipping for them. Here's my margin analysis just for Cincinnati Distributors, my aging, my order summary, my open orders, margin analysis, whatever I want to. It will now be focusing just on one customer at a time. We've also done something sort of fancy. In our database here, our imported products are hot right now. So let's take a look at what does our on-time shipping look like for a single product category. And this is it right here. And you're saying, woo, this doesn't look very consistent. You know, one month it's 100%, the next month it's nothing. So it's pretty sporadic. And then here's a case, there's a keen interest in supply chain and inventory management over the past 2 years, starting after COVID. So this inventory turns, we developed this 10 years ago. And so we have this available for you to use. So if the boss says, well, let's look at inventory turns, you can say, well, we already have that in dashboard. The next example that I want to give you is I developed it. This is under the subject of developing your own dashboard. I want to take this report, I want to copy it in. This report, I want to copy it. I want to go into purchasing. I want to copy all my outstanding purchase orders that I'm going to copy that, and I'm going to bring it. So I have 3 tabs that I've developed as examples here. These are top management overviews, overview of the situation of your entire company. This report you've seen before. The on-time shipping you've seen before. And so this is just an example. I took accounts receivable, aging as well. And then for those who are inventory focused, like maybe the plant manager or the operations manager, these are inventory reports that that should be of interest. And if I should point this out, that if you are focusing on inventory turns, you have to separate the analysis between manufactured and purchased items. You can't commingle both of them on the same report. So this is an example for inventory people. This is a sample for just another summary. Here's something that we've done that we developed. We're very, very customer request driven. When I mentioned earlier this report that showed what our past due was compared to what's available, this was developed by one of our the operations manager at one of our customers, because he had the same exact thing come up. And this concept here of being able to track my incoming stream of orders day by day by day compared to my outgoing stream of orders day by day by day. So you can see here that on the, we're on the 20th of the month. So you can see here on the 17th of the month, we brought in 16 orders at 10,000. We shipped out 16 orders at 102,000. So that got the backlog down. And so this is like a running total that you can use every single day. So let's talk about, so we've talked about all the data available at your fingertips. We've talked about you can make changes to the reports. You don't need IT people typically to change the reports. We have reports for each department. Let's talk about some of the key reports that people find of interest. In the financial control module, we developed a cash flow forecast. And this is very different than any cash flow forecast you've seen, because accounts receivable is based on average days to pay per customer, not the due date. Customers don't pay you based on due date. They pay you based on their trend. So they pay everybody on 60 days, regardless of what the terms code might be. So, and you can imagine everything has drill down. So a couple of years ago, when COVID hit real badly, customers came and said, "Whoa, Mike, we're uncertain here. We think that we're in trouble. Let's add some what if capabilities to dashboard." And that's what we did down here. And this what if says, what if all of our customers paid us 15 days late? So my cash flow up here, I'm expecting $2 million in the next 30 days. If everybody pays us 15 days, that 2 million is going to go down to 800,000. In other words, there's going to be a $1.2 million shortfall in your cash flow. Pretty startling. This is real data, and but without dashboard, you wouldn't know that. You wouldn't have that kind of capability. Something else that we've developed in the area of accounts receivable collections. Our customers wanted an aging summary like this, but they wanted a detail like this. And they wanted the ability to put in collection notes, no more sticky notes, no more yellow Post-it notes. They wanted the ability to put in notes at the customer level, like call this customer back, do whatever, left a message. And at the apply to level, they wanted to be able to put in notes and with a follow-up date. So we did that. That was real nice. And this is where it became a little embarrassing, because all this information here was driven by customers. And then they wanted to be able to drill down and be on the phone with somebody. And so this was an idea that we got from a customer. You have this ability to print this report and email it. So why don't I convert this to a PDF and email this on the phone while I'm talking to the customer who's telling me that to stop calling them, that they pay all their bills on time. So this was pretty cool idea. We've long since said that we know more than our customers in terms of what they want for new features. Something else where in other words, we're shoring up the existing Macola capabilities. Our customers want the ability to import or develop a forecast, a budget, and then be able to compare actual to that. So they wanted to be able to develop a forecast by customer, by salesperson, by item and customer. That's not working right. By alternate address and so on. And maybe to start off with, we can create a budget from history, import it in or import it from Excel, and then make some adjustments. But the idea being that I'm going to have a budget that is either dollar oriented or units oriented. So I'll give you an example then. In the sales and marketing module, now we can start looking at actual sales versus budget, and we can look at that month to date, year to date, quarter to date, this month versus the same month last year, this month versus last month. So we've developed in our column chooser, we've developed about 400 formulas that allow us to measure anything by anything. So if I would put the word month to date in here, month to date, you're seeing these are all the formulas that we've created that have something to do with month to date, dollars, units, margin, and so on. And this is a report that is very, very popular, And again, this is a report developed by one of our customers years ago, and it was what they called their margin erosion chart. So looking at by product category, my margin month by month by month. So for example, the idea would be the margin was in May was 42%, now it's 61. How could we have such a big jump? What credit memo, what something happened that caused that? And again, you have a drill down. Okay, in the inventory area, I mentioned that the Macola software database is excellent, but it's missing some things. So we decided that we would add months of inventory on hand, my usage trending, my average monthly usage over the past 3, 6, and 12 months, date of last usage, date of last purchase, date of last activity, date of last manufacturing, date of last sale. And then in addition to that, we have the ability to look at what our on-hand quantities were, or our usage quantities month by month by month. So to give you an example, I'm going to look at this part called E3089. This replaces Macola's multiple level item view. So you can see here that I have in my summary, the white is real time up to the second. And here I'm taking a look at my months on hand, date of last usage, and so on. My historical summary allows me to look at the on-hand quantity for the past 12 months. And then if I'm also doing an MRP regeneration for this one single item. So I'm looking at my net on-hand quantity forecasted to infinity for the next 18 weeks and then into the future. So we've taken these metrics that we have, and now we're applying them at an individual one part at a time or globally across the entire organization. And we have some other things here. We have bill of material. We have the MRP layers that people might say, well, how did you get that? And then we have everything has a where used. Plus, we've added a new feature, which is the ability to have buttons at the top here. So if I want to look at my usage transaction history, there that is. I don't have to go to another screen. If I want to look at open purchase orders, I can look at that. If I want to look at inventory turns, I have that capability. So these are some things. These buttons across the top. This is something new that we've developed.
Mike,
so if you
might be a good time for
a
question.
Go ahead.
So someone wants to know how they could receive from you the formulas and tabs that you've already created.
Yes, a lot of times my tabs tend to be ahead of our standard tabs. So if your company is using Dashboard already and you like some of these tabs, I mean, I can easily export my settings to a file and then give you instructions on how to import that. And that means then you'll have all of my stuff just the way it is. Now, there are a few items here that we charge for, like this multi-level bill of material, but otherwise everything, you'll have everything. Or on an individual basis, you can call our support desk and ask them to help you, turn on a new report or so on. But yeah, we want our customers to use this, and my reports here tend to be ahead of what a lot of our customers are using. So excellent question, thank you. Any other questions, Bart?
No, that's it for now.
Yeah. Talking about sharing reports, each of these tabs, in this case, the inventory status, you as a user can right-click and publish the tab. So what does that mean? I can make a backup for myself, I can publish it to everybody, or I can say, I'm just selecting these individual people and I'm going to send it to them. So what that means then is we're bordering on this concept of you as an individual like to develop reports, and your coworkers say, this is really cool, will you send me a copy? Or you may say, I don't have time for this, I want to be the recipient. I'm consumed with my job. I want these reports to analyze my situation better. So I want to be the recipient of somebody publishing reports to me. So within every organization, you're going to have the people that like to develop reports and share them, or the people that want to be the recipient of them. So on an individual basis, I'll be very happy to share all of my reports, but the idea being that as time goes by, you can have these reports published. So you can see what we have here. This, if you are a inventory control person, I'll give you an example here. We are, may not have some really good examples, but the idea being we're trying to analyze and buy, we're trying to decide how much to buy. And we can see that our usage is going way up or way down. Like in this case here, our usage used to be 3.3 a month. Now it's 1.3. So it has gone up 4 times. Now it happens to be we have this outlandish amount of months on hand, but there's no reason to be buying this part. Or if I'm looking to see that I need to buy some, but I just bought some 2 weeks ago, a lot of these metrics will be able to help you pinpoint from making mistakes, ordering too much, ordering not enough. And if you do use the concept of reorder levels, I'm now introducing a new subject here, and that subject is we also in Dashboard write back, we update the Macola database. So I'll give you an example here. This program is designed to take my current min, which is my reorder level, and recalculate it based on the rules of my company. Maybe I just want to have, whenever I get down to a 1-month supply or whenever I get down to a 6-month supply, I'm going to reorder. So we have the ability to recalculate our mins, our max, our safety stock, and as well as our purchasing lead time, and then push those back into Macola. And if you don't like the suggestions that are being made here, then what you can do is you can override this and change it before you push it back into Macola. So we're introducing now the concept of pushing data back into Macola. We also have the ability in inventory, we have an ABC class generator. And you might wonder, why do we have what's wrong with the one in Macola? So we have this ability here to recalculate the correct ABC classifications. Again, if I want to leave this one's an A, it's suggested to be a B, I want to leave it, I want to make it an A, or I disagree, whatever. This suggested is a B, but I want to leave it as an A. I can do that. And then when I say update, it'll push it all back into Macola. And we can do some fancy things here, like back in the stock status here. If I right-click on a part number, I can create a pop order, I can create a purchase order, I can create a customer order. When I'm in production, I can right-click and report production. I can report serial lot tracking and all that kind of information. So going back again to what our goals were, all information at your fingertips, no waiting on IT assistance to move this field from here to here or to resort this. You now have all this capability. This blank row that you see on all of our reports, this is our filter row. So I'm going to, if I want everything that is a fabricated part, I just type in FAB and it's brought all that up. So this filter row is very, very powerful. Let's say I wanted to filter row everything that's in that category, everything that's in my Cincinnati. I think my Germany location is in here too. Yep, here's my Germany location, fabrication. I can just go on and on. And then down here, when I want to reset it, I just hit the red X. So probably I want to finish up here, just talk a little bit about material requirements. Again, our customers say, show me my shortages, show me my shortages. What I didn't finish before here was after I get settled down, remember I'm at the beginning of the week, maybe now it's Wednesday, and I've decided what I'm going to do for these 34 components. Now I want to go and maybe look for the next 15 days, do the same thing. I'm going to say, okay, full MRP regen just then. And now I have 90 parts that I have to deal with over the next 15 days. So when it comes time to do production schedule, releasing production, we have a lot, everybody wants to do things slightly differently, and thus we have responded to that. So here's a situation where I want to look at all my open production orders, and I want to see all the components. I want to see whether they're short or not. So here are all the components. So now I have another one where I only want to look at my shortages. I only want to look at the shortages, and I want to focus on, do I have any on order? So if I find one on order here, I want to find a component on order. Well, if I drill down on that, it's going to show me on this lower section. So this is something you haven't seen before, is the ability to link two reports together. And we have some real fancy things here where I want to oh, okay, well, there's something happening right now that this is interesting. For those who are not at their desk all the time, when more than 60 minutes has gone by and you haven't refreshed certain data, it's going to do a refresh, and that's what it's doing right now. You see at the bottom, because over 60 minutes passed, so it should be ready right now. So here's our situation. We're getting ready to release this order to the floor, and we want to be able to see, do we have all the components? Can we make it? No, 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 yes, yes, no, no, no. The same thing for sales orders. It may be that you don't want to look at it, what's happening with the production order. You want to see what the salespeople want to be able to see on day one. I'm accepting this order. Can I make it? Yes or no? Can I make it tomorrow? Yes or no? In this case, no. And it's all kinds of information over here in terms of, because you're competing for this part, you may have it on hand, but it may be spoken for other items. And the last thing that I will leave you with is our infamous purchase order generator. No longer do we manually key in production orders. So I'm going to make believe that I am Pete Bowers in the Cincinnati location. And I want to close this, and I want to refresh. And what it's going to do now is it's telling me these are all of the vendors that I need to deal with as Pete Bowers. So let's find one that looks interesting. I want to find one that has a lot of well, I'm not finding ones that have. Oh, here, this is okay. I had this box checked by mistake. So here's this Cincinnati shipping, and these are the items that are being recommended I need to buy. So I can say yes, 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 yes. Okay, I look at this label here. This comes in boxes of 1,000, so I can't order. I can't order 600. I can't order 626. I have to order 1,000. So I can actually change that, and then when I am done, then I say create the purchase order. Here it is. Oh, and it's telling me that I have to order this a minimum of 1,000 also. So I can do all kinds of things. I can release this as a released order, as a printed order. I can even, if I don't like Cincinnati shipping anymore, I can actually give this to another vendor. If you're concerned about weights, we have, or volume size, we have that as well. So when you say save, what's going to happen then is back here, this will disappear, and then you're going to go on to the next vendor. I don't know why these boxes are all checked here, and so on. So this is our purchase order generator. You can use this for day-to-day replenishing. You can use this for outside operations for shop orders. You can use this for anything that you want to. And there's rules behind it that are telling you how much, when to order and how much to order. When is pretty easy, how much is the difficult part. So there we are. This is the overview. We've talked about the different modules. We've talked about the ability to change these reports around, to add information to the reports. We've talked about, especially in the inventory area, these additional fields. So I didn't make enough of a big deal about this before, but you now have, let's look at this one more time. You have the ability to go back 24 months and look at what your on-hand quantity was, how much you purchased, what you produced, what your usage was. And then with our MRP, you have the ability to look into the future to infinity to see what the projected net on-hand quantity is. So, and then we can provide a forecast as well. When I went up and showed you the sales and marketing before, though I didn't point out that this entry right here, this is my production forecast. And again, I can import that from Excel, make changes. I can import that and create it from history and make adjustments and so on. I can have an unlimited number of budget scenarios for an unlimited number of years. So I think that we've talked about this enough that the idea was to free up the end user, allow them to make their own changes, have the reports pre-developed, but yet allow them to make changes to the reports, move the columns around, and so on and so on. So that's our 46-minute overview. So Bart, that wraps my part up. Is there anything that else that has come up today, or questions, or anything that I overlooked?
Nope, I think that's it.
Okay. So if your company today is using Dashboard and you're here to get an overview to kind of whet your appetite, you can request and go to Help and About. You can request one-on-one training. You can request training for your team, your department. You have unlimited ability to ask for get questions answered. So feel free to use this. Bill Cox is our new support manager for Dashboard, and he comes with 15 years of on-site, hands-on manufacturing ERP experience. Okay. Well, thanks for your time today. If you are not using our software right now, if you're looking at it in anticipation, we do offer a 20-day free trial where we'll install the software and train your people, and you can use the software at no cost for 20 days with your data. And that's of interest to a lot of people. Okay, well, thanks very much for your time today. Appreciate it. And for those of you who are using our software, we appreciate your ongoing support of our software. Thanks. Have a good rest of the week. Bye-bye.